Good evening and welcome to my end of the week recap video here for Apple and trade plan for next week. Real quick, I only had one new trade last week, which was a speculation on Buffett's 13F. I took $600, not a huge position I know, and spread it out over weekly 15 February calls, 22 February calls, and March 1st calls. So as it turns out, he actually did not buy. He actually reduced by 1%, and that trade ended up being a loss for me. Small loss, nothing huge. Again, it was not a huge position. Didn't expect it to make me trillions or anything. So no problem there. Anyways, as far as the 13F, it encompassed the time frame between these two green lines. So perfectly realistic, in my opinion, to expect someone who had potentially been buying from way back here in 2016, 17, and 18 to take some off up here when it's trading well over $200 a share. So the end of that reporting period, we'll see what happens on the next 13F because a lot of participants were buying down here in the 140s to 150s area. So probably going to change that, but I'm not going, well, I'm not going to say never, but I'm probably not going to try and trade for the next 13F that comes out just because of this one. So anyways, going forward, the plan I'm looking at, I do have a small position here I'm carrying over the week based on an 8 EMA support that hasn't really hit my target yet. Just been holding it for a few days, actually about a week and a half. We'll see if it makes it all the way up here to 174, 175 area, which I'll take profits off of there. Overall target is going to be up here around 190, 191. Now, if we do get a pullback, I will add a different position. I'll take 170 calls about 2 weeks in the future down here at the 21 EMA, or the 50 SMA down here. I will take 165 calls about 4 weeks in the future. As I'm zoomed in here, you can see how this red line has started to curl up a little bit. This is a 50 SMA that is good and productive for algorithmic strategies. So maybe the robots are going to start buying a little bit heavier here into this climb. It's worth pointing out what this price action looks like as it's popped up very strong, and now it's just riding the AEMA up. I feel if we get over this 173.32 area, we're going to have a nice pop quickly into 175. There is a prior peak there, so I expect a little bit of supply there before we continue on up towards 190, 191 area. Now this is a very interesting pattern or price action that's set up, and I went back just to the recent future to see where price action had made a very bullish move and then just kind of ridden along the AEMA to see what happens. You got one here mid 2018, and then again this was not so clean, but again later 2017. It's happened several times over. Tried to find some of the cleanest ones. This one's not too clean, but this one actually popped up and it was very choppy and failed. Once it started to break above back here in early 2017, excuse me, you can see what really happens. Now this is a little bit different of a setup because this was above all other significant moving averages, whereas now we're still below the 200 SMA, which is worth keeping in mind. So maybe it turns out to something like this. Maybe it rolls over and comes back and tests low. Finished at highs on Friday on slightly elevated volume. I'd say this is primed to pop a little bit higher. We'll see what happens going into the week. If it does pop above here, like I said, I'm going to look to take profits off at 175. I will re-enter another position. If it comes up here, consolidates, makes a flag, maybe trots down a little bit, and then pops again, at that point, I will go ahead and take another position for a move higher. So for now, that's my trade plan in Apple for next week. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Have a good weekend and good luck on Monday.